Namaste everyone, and welcome back to another hour of yoga with Stefano. Let's start the class today by sitting between our heels. This is called Virasana. It's not the most straightforward thing to do if your knees are not quite prepared for it. So if you have something that looks like a block, you can slide it under, lift up, and that will keep it a lot easier. Also, you can work the calf meat out all the way to help you create more space, lengthen the spine. So ideally you want to be on a mat or something that looks like a mat, not on a really soft surface. Let's start by drawing a line, 2 big breaths in and 2 big sighs out. And don't we really need this? So that really draws the line. And from here we just want to rest our hands onto the thighs, just make sure that we have no discomfort in the ankles, knees, and if any of that is happening, just lift up higher or even come up onto your knees. So we're going to focus on breathing first. So today's class is going to be on the theme of uplifting and revitalising. So we might just feel that we need some of that, considering the current climate and the fact we have to stay at home. So just bring the focus onto your breath and just start to guide that breath into the abdomen. Long breaths as you start relaxing, and just all the worries and the news and all the things that have been happening during the day just slowly fade away. Close your eyes if you're feeling comfortable. And we're going to practice a rebalancing breath, a yoga breath, so a form of pranayama, yoga breathing. So today we're going to practice Nadi Shodhana, which is a truly rebalancing breath. So what does it entail? We're just going to place the right hand's index and middle finger into our third eye, between the eyebrows, and then the thumb next to your right nostril, the ring finger next to the left nostril, and we're gonna just slightly close off the right, breathe in through the left, swap, closing the left, opening the right, breathe out through the right, breathe in through the right, swap, breathe out through the left, in through the left, slow long breath, swap out through the right, and so on. You're gonna breathe in from the same nostril where you just breathed out, and then you swap. So this is called Nadi Shodhana. If your right arm gets tired, you can just support it with the left hand. And where is this rebalancing breath? We're balancing our nadis, our energy channels. The right side of the nose is linked to our sympathetic nervous system, so activating. Left side of the nose is calming. By alternating between the two, we're just going to achieve some balance. And balance is what we really need. Not excessively activated, overly excited, and not excessively lethargic. Another 2 breaths per side. And next time you breathe out through the left, you release. Bring the right hand back to the right thigh. Keep your eyes closed, keep your focus on the breath, and watch how this whole gentle practice might have changed your perception. And we're going to start with a bit of a warm-up before we build that energy that we need to revitalize. Anticipate a few back bends and a few twists. So if your spine doesn't like that, make sure you really take it extra easy on this. So opening the eyes, breathing out as you bring the arms back alongside the torso. We're going to walk the hands forward as we lift the hips up, and we're just going to reach forward as much as we can. As we keep our hips over the knees, we lower the shoulders and keep the head off the floor. This is puppy dog, so we want to feel a stretch in the shoulders there. Just nice and easy as we keep breathing with our long deep breaths in and out through the nose.
And then as we breathe in next, we walk the hands back in, we round the spine, and then we start dragging the hands in and just unwinding the spine up, lower, middle, upper back, and then we lift the arms up towards the sky. And as you breathe out, open the arms and you start coming down, hinging forward, bringing the hands back to the floor and walking them forward to reach back into your puppy dog. Stretching the shoulders and breathing in, walking and shuffling the hands in all the way. Breathing out. One more time as you're mobilizing the spine and out. And from here we're going to lift the gaze up, walk the hands back in. We find ourselves into all fours, so wrists are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. Let's do a couple of cat-cows. Inhale to arch the spine, lifting collarbone and tailbone at the same time. Exhale, doing the opposite, arching backs, separating the shoulders and stretching the space between the shoulder blades and the very tops of the shoulders. And with your breath, inhale to lift, gaze up. Exhale to arch. And one more time, lift, exhale, arch. And back to neutral, and we're gonna come back sitting where we were. If you have a block or something that looks like it, you just move it out of the way, leave it close to the front of the mat. Bring your hands behind your feet, so just gonna press into the fingertips there. Just going to lift the pelvis slightly to find the stretch for our quads. We're not looking for back arch here, just kind of stretching and easing. And then from here we release, and then we step one foot forward at a time. The soles of the feet are on the floor, the palms of the hands are on the floor. Spreading the fingers, spreading the toes. Inhale, lift up, reverse tabletop there. So your knees should be right on top of your heels, your shoulders should be right on top of your wrists, so you can change as needed there, lifting up as high as you can, keeping the neck neutral, not throwing that back. It's really a delicate part. And then we exhale. As we exhale, we come forward with the hips and we just sit right between the heels. From here we place one forearm on the floor at a time and we relax and come in just line onto our mat. Just a little bit of core activation. Bring both knees into the chest and then inhale to lift both feet up towards the sky, L shape for your body. Try to keep that spine nice and extended. Your arms and neck and shoulders are relaxed. Inhale here, exhale, lower those to wherever it feels comfortable, and then we inhale back up. So if you notice that your lower back wants to arch back, coming off the floor, or if you're shaking, just don't come down very much, just do a few degrees, that's enough. If you feel you can do more and want to do more, you can lower all the way to be hovering off the floor, but watching out for that lower back. And if really this is not what your back likes, just slide two hands underneath your pelvis, and that will just make it quite a bit nicer and easier. So with the breath, inhale to lift, exhale down. We're working with the core, we're working with the hip flexors, so creating quite a bit of warmth and heat that we will use later in the class. And then with the next time we come down, we try and just hold it there to a level that we can keep for 2 slow breaths. And if you're shaking, just let go. If you're happy here, complete those 2 breaths. And then everyone inhales to bring those feet back up, sliding the hands out if they were under, bending the knees and squeezing them into the chest. And just allowing that lower back to relax and feel relieved. Breathing into the abdomen with our abdominal breath in and out of the nose to release completely. And then from here we bring both feet down onto the floor, exactly where we were, so the heels are just in front of our sitting bones. We're going to inhale, press into the feet, keeping the knees apart from each other to lift the pelvis up. And we're coming into what starts to look like the first back arch, but we want to keep it really light, so making sure we have energy in our lower body, just all the way from your feet to the pelvic floor. And just arching just gently, using not only the lower back but every part of the spine. And the neck should be comfortable enough there. If not, you'll need to readjust the position of your shoulders. Exhale, we're coming back to rest on the mat. We're gonna try and repeat with the variation. Inhale again and lift up into our bridge pose. This time, if you can, we're going to lift the right foot off the floor and bring in the right knee towards the chest. Try and straighten that right leg up towards the sky. Now flexing the right ankle, we're going to bend the right knee, placing that right ankle on top of the left thigh, and then from here we exhale to lower down to the floor with the pelvis. Inhale to lift the left foot off the floor, left shin parallel to the floor ideally. Sliding those hands through the gap to get a hold of the back of the left thigh, and just draw that left thigh in as you gently press with the right elbow your right thigh away from you. The focus here is breathing and keeping length in the spine. You don't want that spine to be rounding up. Just keeping it nicely in contact with the mat in every part, from the tailbone to the shoulder blades. Exhale and release. And the right foot also comes back, ready for the other side. Inhale, moving up into a bridge. And then the left foot lifts, left knee to the chest, left foot up, and then flex the right ankle, place it on top of the right thigh and descend back to the floor. Inhale, lift the right foot. Feel that left hip pulling. That's what we're aiming for, and if your spine is fully rounding, you will not feel any of that, so you'll need to try and bring every part of the spine back in contact with the mat, bringing the hands around that right thigh and just drawing that thigh towards you. Breathe in, and with every exhalation trying to lengthen that spine in a little bit more, just to place it nicely in contact with the mat. And with the next exhale, right foot back into the floor, left foot back into the floor, and we just release here for a second. We're just going to separate the feet a little bit wider, and the arms come out at the T or cross, and we're going to inhale first. As we exhale, both knees go down to the left and your gaze goes to the right, and then vice versa. Inhaling left, and a few times with your own breath, moving slowly, dynamic twist, just to start opening up that spine a little bit more. And we have mobilized a little bit the shoulder, spine, and the hips, so we're going to be ready soon to get into our uplifting asana sequencing. And one more time, and then back to center, and then we bring in the knees into the chest, and we're squeezing them in there. And then we start rolling along the length of the spine, up and down, feet go straight up. And hopefully you're not on a bit of a slope like me, so you're not gonna slide back towards the river. And then we try to use one of these to either come onto the feet in a squat, or directly with the help of our hands into a standing position. And we're gonna walk, if we're not already there, up at the front of the mat. And we meet up here, ready to start uplifting and energizing. So the first thing we're going to do is to apply an uplifting breath to a movement. So we're going to separate the feet to bring them to be mat width apart, pointing outside to the 45. And let's keep two hands onto our abdomen. So we're going to practice an energizing breath called Kapalabhati breathing. And then we're going to couple this with the movement. Pretty strong movement. I warn you, you'll feel pretty uplifted at the end. But you might also feel dizzy. So if you feel lightheaded, just slow down and pull out slowly. So Kapalabhati goes this way. The inward breath is smooth through the nose,
Feeling the abdomen and the chest, and the outer breath is a forceful squeeze using your core, like that. So we're gonna do it firstly slowly, and then we're gonna speed up a little bit. So try and stay with my pace. So let's inhale and go. And one more. And breathe to 2/3 of your lung capacity. And then close your eyes, hold it here. And you can see you can hold that breath in for much longer than normal, just because we have really flushed the system with oxygen. So a lot of energy already, a lot of revitalising feeling. So that's just the beginning. So if you're with me, we can do it together again a little bit faster, and it's up to you how fast you want to do it. So let's have a go. And 3, 2, 1, and release. Inhale to 2/3. If you're feeling lightheaded, just keep your eyes open. Just avoid feeling a little wobbly and hold that breath in. Watch that warmth in the face, that energy that is just spreading from your heart center through your whole body. And resume your regular breath. So where your feet like that, we're going to imagine we have a log in between our feet, and we're gonna chop that wood. So as we chop the wood, we're gonna do squats, and as we come down, we're gonna use the same breathing technique that we just practiced. And as we come up, we just breathe in more smoothly. So let's start slowly and build up some speed. Let's inhale. Grab the axe and chop. Now we're gonna speed up a bit. See if you wanna come with me. Two, one, and stop. Exhale, hands to prayer, the heart. Close your eyes if you're not feeling dizzy. Hands to prayer. Exhale, release, open your eyes. Bringing your feet back to be hip width apart, and we're gonna move now to some further sequences that are quite uplifting. So let's inhale, lifting both arms up towards the sky, gentle back arch. Exhale, dive forward, bend the knees, hands to the floor. You can step or jump the feet all the way back into our first downward facing dog. So now you're telling you're doing it right. You want to initially micro bend the knees, so you can just bring the shoulders down and the abdomen towards the thighs. The abdomen actually could be gently squeezed into the thighs, and that those shoulders should be feeling like they felt in puppy dog that we practiced at the very start of the class. And then we can walk the dog one heel down at a time, only if we can do that without shifting the hips from side to side, without rounding the spine, keeping the neck aligned with the rest of the spine, no lifting of the head, no dangling of the head, keeping that neck nice and healthy. So from here, we're going to inhale to lift the left leg up towards the ceiling, three-legged dog, nice stretch. Exhale, swing that left foot through to the front, left foot comes inside the left hand. The sole of the right foot now comes at the 90-degree angle, and we lift directly up into Warrior Two, lifting both arms up, and heel to heel alignment, left knee aligned with left ankle, shoulders over hips, and you're gazing over the left hand. So it's called Warrior because you should feel grounded, should feel strong. You're pressing strongly with the feet into the floor, as if those feet want to move apart from each other, but they can't because of the friction of the floor. So here's an uplifting standing sequence for you. Inhale, lift the left arm up towards the sky, right arm down towards the back leg, gaze up at the top hand, and then as you exhale, you turn back, gaze at the back foot, and you go a little bit deeper into that side bend, and inhale back to Warrior Two.
Exhale, lower the left forearm onto the left thigh, right arm goes up and comes overhead. You lower the left arm on the outside of that left leg to reach wherever it can without any weight onto the leg. You can gaze at the side or at the upper hand. Extended side angle pose if you want to challenge yourself and you have the openness that is needed for this. You can bind the pose, wrapping the right arm behind, left arm under the leg, getting the hands to latch onto each other, and you have to make sure that the top shoulder comes back to be on top of the bottom shoulder so that you're not adding multiple movements to that spine. And we all inhale, coming back up to Warrior Two. Exhale, extend the torso over that left leg and hold on, come back. I want you to grab that block or book or whatever you have. Get that block into the left hand. Just hold it like this, like I am. Extend that torso over the left leg, and then you lift the right arm up and you find the block on the floor at 45 degrees from the little toe. We're going to lift the right leg up and we're coming into Ardha Chandrasana, called half moon pose. Try to have a 90 degree between the legs, and if you can just let go of the block and just leave that left hand there dangling. Challenging balance pose. And then from here, micro bend the left knee, bring the right foot back to where it was, swivel onto the balls of the back foot. The torso now faces forward. Inhale, both arms up, you're in a high lunge. Exhale, sink into that. Left knee tracks left ankle, back leg is straight, and you're flexing that back ankle. No arching of the spine, just pausing here. Inhale, exhale, wheel your hands forward, frame the front foot, step the left foot back to meet the right, feet together, high plank, knees to the floor if you feeling tired already. Otherwise, staying up with me for one breath. Exhale to bend the elbows, keep them tucked in, Chaturanga Dandasana, release to the floor, and then reach back into your feet, energize the inner legs, pelvic floor. Inhale, lift just a little bit, mini cobra to start with, shoulders down, away from the ears, elbows in. Exhale, back to the floor, tuck the toes. Inhale, lift into downward facing dog. And now we are going to inhale to lift the right leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, swing it through to the front, and we inhale to lift up into our Warrior Two. So bring that sole at 90 degrees. We're going to move this way so that I'm facing you. Also, might have to readjust this thing. Bear with me while you hold that Warrior Two and breathe. So every inward breath brings energy in, every outward breath is a relief. But rather than letting the energy dissipate, just make sure that you just hold it within the body by engaging your legs and especially just engaging the pelvic floor. Imagine you're doing a wee and wanting to stop that wee mid-flow. That's what you'll be doing just to support the pose. Next, inhale, right arm up, left arm back, gaze up at the top hand first, keeping the lower body in the same posture as it is in Warrior Two, and then gaze back at the back foot and just go a little bit deeper if you like in that side bend. Inhale, back to Warrior Two. Exhale, extended side angle. For that variation of your choice, you can lower the right arm to wherever it can reach. Make sure that that right knee doesn't knock in. You want to keep it nice and aligned, tracking the ankle. You can bind if you like, only if you are able to bring the top shoulder back to where it was. Inhale, lift back to where we started, and again I forget the block, so sure you have the block in the right hand this time. Give you a different angle. Inhale here, exhale, extend the torso over the right leg, lower the right arm block on the floor and lift the left leg up, left arm points up to the ceiling, as two-dimensional as you can make it. And then we leave that block there, micro bend the right knee, bring the left foot back down, we swivel onto the balls of the back foot, turn the torso to face forward, and we are in a high lunge. Inhale, both arms up, exhale, sink. Just try and extend the front of that left leg as much as it needs to keep that left leg straight without arching back. Inhale one more time. Exhale, dive forward, frame the front foot, step back, high plank. Inhale, exhale, chaturanga. Release to the floor. Inhale, cobra. And from here, this time you can take it a little further up, making sure you are just allowing the full length of the spine to contribute to that twist. You want to feel the energy running from your toes all the way through your pelvic floor, and from there, lower, middle, upper back, shoulders down, away from the ears, elbows in, pelvis stays on the floor. Breathe in. Feel the stretch for your torso, for your abdominal muscles. Exhale, bend the elbows, so slowly come back to the floor. Chin on the floor. From here we're going to simply bring the hands back to the level of the lower rib cage. Keep them nice and close to the rib cage. And we press into the tops of the feet and into the hands. Inhale here. And we come directly to up dog. So in up dog, your knees are off the floor and your points of contact with the floor are your hands. Make sure that the weight doesn't go all into the wrists. So spread the fingers and press into the bases of the fingers. And the other point of contact is the tops of your feet. And just smooth arch for the spine. And then we tuck the toes under. And slow motion, we bring the hips back up. And we come back to our downward facing dog, bringing the shoulders down. And then from here, the knees come to the floor. We come back onto the tops of the feet, sit onto the heels and reach forward with the arms, forehead on the floor. We come into Balasana, child pose, which is a restful counter pose for back arches and strong sequences. You might feel that you needed just a couple of soothing breaths here. As I promised you, a bit more back arches are coming, so I hope you're keen for it. Inhale, lift and bring your shoulders forward, and just bend the elbows to come back with the chin on the floor and the tummy on the floor. So make sure your arms are now alongside the torso and your upper body completely relaxed. I'm disappearing in the grass here, but what we're going to do is Salabhasana or locust pose. There is a level that's suitable for everyone here. So first step, inhale, lift your chin off the floor. Lift your hands off the floor. With that, the arms and the shoulders will be off the floor. This should be light enough, and you might be stopping here if you are enjoying this level. If you want more, next inhalation, you lift the feet, lift the knees, lift the thighs off the floor. You really need to engage with that core and keep that pelvic floor squeezed up. And then you just work with the breath. And you want more work, your arms come out and come forward, palms facing each other. Make sure that head is not dangling, nor lifting. And you just work with the breath there. And then as you exhale, you just slowly bring everything back to where you started. Next, we're gonna do our bow pose, which is starting from the same point, except that we first bend both knees, bringing the feet up towards the ceiling or the sky. We're gonna get each foot with the respective hand. 1 and 2. Your knees might have come apart from each other. Bring them back closer in, and there you go. You're already there. So your shoulders and chest are off the floor. You can hold it here. If you want more, with the next inward breath, you lift the knees and thighs off the floor, And you keep your neck aligned with the upper spine, and you can just keep going up with every inward breath. And then we release, exhale, thighs on the floor, chin on the floor, release, feet on the floor, and arms back down. Nice. Gonna bring the hands to be under the shoulders, separate your feet, tuck the toes, and we're going to lift up into downward facing dog. One more time. From here, what we're gonna do is we're going to either step or leapfrog the feet either side of the hands. And then we're back with the feet at 45 at mat width distance. Fantastic. Here we're going to just come down into a squat malasana, hands to prayer the heart, and the elbows are gently, elbows or triceps gently pressing into our inner thighs. Spine stays nice and long, lifting through the arches of the feet so that we don't get flat feet because of this. Breathing into the abdomen. And this is a nice pose that is at the same time detox, helpful for digestion, but also very good hip opener. And just helps lift your spirit as well. So we've done a few of our back bends, but a couple of more to come. So hopefully you're pacing yourself so that you can stay with me to the end. We got about another 10 minutes of asanas, no more, and then we're going to move into a guided relaxation, full body relaxation, and a sample of mantra meditation. So from here we're going to place the left hand just outside of the left foot, staying aligned with the left foot, and the left tricep presses a little bit more inside that left inner thigh. We inhale here, exhale, we extend the right arm up as we twist towards the right. So nice, a little bit strong. Keep breathing using your abdomen to its full capacity, and that gives you a nice wave that you can use to massage your hips and massage your abdomen as well. And you can bind the pose if you like. That's a little bit more challenging here. Make sure that you can really reopen that pose and make sure that that spine is not experiencing some forward bending or rounding. Inhale, back to center. Gonna do the other side. Right hand aligned with the right foot. Inhale, exhale, lift left arm, gaze up at the top hand. Those two arms should be roughly aligned with each other. And bind only if you like. Just giving that spine its full extension. Gaze over the left shoulder if you're in the bind. And we all inhale to come back to center. And we feel now gravity makes us fully descend towards the floor. We're going to bring the hands back behind our hips, and we're just going to walk back with the hands to sit comfortably around the middle of the mat. We are going to do a couple of additional back bends from here. We're going to do a repeat of what we did at the start, bridge pose, but going a little bit deeper. So let's lie down on the mat. The heels are just in front of our sitting bones. So you want to have those middle fingers be able to feel those heels. Press into the feet, relaxing the upper body. Inhale, lift the pelvis up. Engage your legs, especially the inner thighs, especially the pelvic floor. And going up a little bit more than we did at the start. And if you like to go a little bit deeper, you bring your hands and clasp them underneath your sacrum, and you just work your way onto your shoulders so that you can lift up a little bit more here. And then we exhale and we release back to the floor. And one more here. We're going to do fish pose. If you're not familiar with it, just make sure you come up to take a look. We're going to extend our legs, feet together, just pressing forward into the balls of the feet. Easy start, lift one buttock at a time, slide the respective hand underneath, work your elbows in. Inhale to let the spine peel off the floor as eventually the head also comes off the floor. And now you feel your neck fully stretched. You're gonna allow your buttocks to slide back towards the wrist slightly so that you can feel the floor with the very top of the head. And you can just hold it here, making sure that the spine is fully supported by the energy in your legs and pelvic floor. Breathe in and just feeling that activation. So while our back arch is activating, we are actually giving a soft, gentle squeeze to the adrenals. Just brings us back into that fight or flight kind of mode. Give us a little bit more attitude. And if we were feeling a little bit sloppy, a little bit bored of our indoors lifestyle, this may be of help. You can slide your hands out only if you have enough core strength that you can support this without any significant weight onto your neck. And for those strong folks, you can have your hands to prayer. At the heart center, you can lift one foot and down, the other foot and down, both feet up, making sure your lower back is happy with this, or it will not be happy tomorrow. Exhale, everyone releases. Press it into elbows and forearms. We lift the head off the floor and we bring the back of the head to rest as we just take a gentle break here, bringing both knees into the chest and we squeeze them in. Nice counter pose. And I would say we are done with the uplifting, revitalizing back arches. Let's now do some relaxed form of twists and maybe a stretch or two before we relaxed. So we're going to lie down, stay lying down completely. Actually bend both knees, bring them in and just slide your pelvis towards the right side of the mat. Extend the left leg so your left leg becomes the middle line of that mat and the arms are out. And you bring the right foot on top of the left knee. The right arm stays fully out and you bring the left head to the outside of the right knee. Inhale here. Exhale, you roll onto your left side as you gaze over the right hand. You want to keep that right shoulder on the floor. So if that lifts, you're kind of like losing a little bit of the twist. So the twist is really just led by the spine. You don't need to use any force. And you don't want that right shoulder to lift, otherwise you're really not using the spine to twist. And if you want to try to add a stretch to this, come back to where we started. And now you lift the right foot and you tuck two fingers of the left hand around the big toe here. And you try and lift that right foot up. And then you slowly keep that left knee initially bent so that you don't end up collapsing down to the right. And when the right foot is down to the right, you can try and extend that right leg into a stretch. Gaze still over your right leg, your right hand, and breathe. Try and breathe into your lung capacity, in and out through the nose. Nice and relaxing. And if the stretch is not pleasant for you, just move back to the regular version that I just showed you before. There's no point in feeling strain or discomfort. That's really not part of yoga. To come back, you bend the right knee if you're in the stretch and you come back to center. You bend the left knee as well and you shift your hips all the way to the left. Your right leg becomes the center line of the mat and you bend the right knee, place the left foot onto the right knee. Inhale here. Right hand outside left knee and down you go onto the right side and you turn to gaze to your left. And to you, if you want to, you can do, or you twist, so you can choose if you like to get that big toe and just extend. Both feet on the floor and coming back with our spine on the center line on the mat, and just bringing both knees into the chest. Just do one half roll to come sitting again onto the mat. So what we're gonna be doing here, just a little bit of a stretch. So let's use the same technique, 2 fingers around the big toe of the right leg, stretch that right leg out, and then let's do the same for the left leg, and back in. Let's see how we go with both legs at the same time. Doesn't help for me that I'm on a slight slope, but keeping a micro bend in the knees helps you to do it right. So the idea here, this is a version of Navasana. You want to have the spine nice and long, lengthened, so not rounding, not collapsing. If you feel that spine wants to take you back to the floor behind you, that's not good. And you can slowly work towards extending those legs without changing the shape or the posture of that spine. Gazing at the fixed point on the floor in front of you. That helps with the balance. If you like, you can attempt bringing those feet towards each other. And then we all bend those knees and we bring the feet on the floor, bring the soles against each other, bring the hands around those, just shift those heels to be close to our groin. Inhale to lengthen the spine, and we are in Baddha Konasana. Shoulders down, just enjoying a little bit of extra hip opening here. And with the next exhalation, after a deep breath in, we can hinge forward slightly, just pressing with the elbows onto the inner thighs. That will help us open up a little bit more, but softly. You don't want to be forceful here. And as you come forward, just make sure that spine is not rounding. So we're just hinging at the hip creases, as always when we are forward folding in yoga. Just not using the spine to bend, but we're just doing it at the hips. And that's really the way we can make our hips more flexible. And a couple of soothing breaths here. And we release. So let's do one last stretch while we're here. We can do a wide leg forward fold. So just bring one foot out and the other foot out. Nice. Either side. You want to have ideally at least a 90-degree angle between your 2 legs, but obviously that depends on your flexibility. So we're going to, let's demonstrate it this way. So we're going to place the hands right behind the pelvis, pressing with the fingertips right there, flexing those ankles and just lengthening the spine as much as we can. Inhale here, feel that length, and just press a little bit more into the fingertips as you exhale, just hinging forward slightly. That's the kind of feeling you want to have in your inner thighs with this stretch. So it's a pretty strong, ambitious stretch, so there's no point in doing this. You're going to just create some strain in the spine and you're not going to get the benefit of the pose. So with every breath in, we lengthen the spine a little bit more, and with every breath out, we will find a little bit of space to press forward a little bit more without adding that arching of the spine. Only if we're feeling happy there, we can bring the hands forward. And if the back just goes straight rounding, then we're just going to come back to this. Otherwise, you can just walking those hands forward with every outward breath, watching out that we're pulling strongly on some of those thin muscles running along the inside of the hips. So this is really taking usually quite a few breaths, a couple of minutes before your body relaxes and allows you to go deeper. You can allow your hands to follow the line of your legs, but without pulling yourself down with the force, just as a guide. Or you can have your hands forward.
Again, this pose is a pose that requires a lot of practice before you're able to go any length into it. What really matters is just feeling good into it. So you want to feel that length in the spine. You want to feel that with every exhalation you're just exploring the flexibility limits of your hips without going too strong, without going too deep, and that will be the best way to enjoy it, the best way to get good outcomes, improve. And we're just trying now to calm down, slow down after the energizing, revitalizing, uplifting sequences that we practiced before. So forward folding is the way to do it. So we're going to bring that body back to its original state, but with some really significant health benefits that we have achieved through this, and not to forget mental benefits that we can achieve through this, through the breathing practices we did, through these uplifting poses and stretches. Inhale, slowly lift back out of the pose, back to a vertical spine, and then bringing both feet in front of you, giving a shake to both legs. We're ready for relaxation. So a little bit of Shavasana. So how it goes, we're done with the poses, so we're just going to allow our body to lie onto our mat or whatever surface we're on, making sure that it's comfortable. You have the feet about hip width apart from each other and just falling off either side. The arms at about 30-degree angle from your torso, palms facing the ceiling. Find your comfort for your neck, your head. Find the comfort for your shoulders. And what we're going to move into is guided relaxation in the pose of Shavasana. This is a yoga pose. It means the pose of the corpse. So as the words suggest, we are not meant to move much. So that's why I'm asking you to just do those little readjustments now so that you don't need to come back to it. And this is really a challenge for this pose. It's not the easiest thing to actually lie down without any movement. Imagine when you're sleeping, you always, toss and turn, just trying to find your comfort. And here we're trying to just lie down and feeling good without any movements for a while. So this is requiring a lot of control. Moving to the process of yoga nidra or yoga sleep. So the idea is just to let go completely of the outside world and bring the focus entirely inwards. So you're seeing your breath, you're seeing your body lying there, you're aware of it. You want to enhance the awareness of your body. You're going to start by placing your attention on your feet. And you're aware you have a breath. With every outward breath, you're going to allow the parts of the body that I mentioned to relax, to sink into the ground underneath you, feeling heavier, feeling unable to move. Relaxing your ankles, shins and calves. Relaxing your knees, your thighs and hamstrings. Letting go of the hips. Your whole lower body is now completely relaxed. Just dangling there, attached to the upper body. Relaxing your spine, starting from the sacrum and slowly moving up to the middle, upper back. Letting go of the shoulders and the arms attached to them. Just notice how much heavier they feel when you mindfully try and relax them. Watch your fingers be naturally curled. Relax your neck, back of the head. Relax your face, chin, jaws, forehead, temples, and the eyelids, softly covering the pools of your eyes. And now just drawing your mind onto the breath. Your body is now just heavy, lying there, almost melting into the ground.
becoming one with the earth, and just become aware of all that is left moving, your breath, maybe even your heartbeat. Just keeping your mind there, trying to mindfully keep your focus there. It's a nice practice to stay away from the worries of our daily lives. Also a nice practice to calm and bring the mind under control. And I hope you managed to stick to that, to those instructions. If you did, you might feel the relief that this brings. And if you imagine, if you practice this for longer in your own time, this could be a very useful daily practice. But now we're going to bring some movement back to the body so that we can finish off the class with, as promised, a little bit of chant and meditation. So we're going to wiggle fingers and toes. We're going to do some micro shakes and micro nods with the head. We're going to move the arms overhead and stretch through the body. And bending the knees into the chest, squeezing them in one more time. Drawing circles to massage the lower back. Hopefully we didn't overstimulate it, but if you followed my instructions, you should be good. And then we're just coming down on one side to recover. That's pretty good. You can stay there as long as you like. I'm gonna set up for the final bit of the class, a bit of kirtan or mantra meditation. So at your own time, you can come back into a seated position and you can join me for a little bit of singing. So it's important not to change your state of mind. Just stay calm, stay focused, keep watching that breath, and we're going to softly shift the focus from the breath to a sound, the sound of a mantra. And we're going to do this through this practice where I'm chanting a mantra and you chant it back to me. We're going to do this a few times. So let's practice with the mantra Gauranga, which is spelled Gauranga, a few times. Gauranga, 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 Gauranga. Your turn. Gauranga, 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 Gauranga. Gauranga, 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 Gauranga.
Thanks for staying along until the end. Namaste. See you next time.